So je commence l'interview. Thank you for coming here. Uh, so basically, what I got from your email, you are Sean Saint Laurent, and I saw that you were a lead influencer marketing. So there's a lot of careers that are just like name dropped, and we don't really know exactly what it entails. But can you try to give us more information about um uh, what exactly you do for your work?
Yeah, sure. So, thanks for the intro. So yes, my name is Sean. I am the global lead for influencer marketing here at Gameloft. So we are a mobile first gaming publisher. We have just recently released our first PC console game, which is called Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is a really cool life sim game with the Disney IP. So basically, what my role is to look after a team of 10 people. So these 10 colleagues are influencer marketing managers, and their role or their responsibilities are basically to hire content creators, influencers, to basically talk about our games and promote our games. So there's a lot more that goes into it, but basically my role is to really oversee the whole department and make sure that we are fully aligned on strategy, on execution, and make sure that the team is doing the best work that they can do. So my role is really a support role where I am working on multiple different projects at the same time and working with multiple different people at the same time. And I try to accompany every single team member in career growth. So that's basically what I do. But the gist of it or the recap is we work in influencer marketing, which is to the promotion of our products through content creators and influencers.
Can you give us examples? Because for like, let's say for Dreamlight Valley, which I'm a big Disney fan. If you couldn't see my goofy figure right there.
Yes.
So basically, how do you reach out exactly to those creators and like, how does it work basically?
Yeah, so the way it works is, first and foremost, the game for, let's say, Dreamlight Valley has been in production for about 4 years now. So
Oh wow.
during those 4 years, we work on strategy a lot and we sort of define what a content creator or what an influencer looks like for this product. And a few months prior to the game's release, with the strategy being defined and when we want to activate specific creators at specific moments. So let's say, the game released a demo where you could create your avatar in the game. So we wanted to activate influencers at that moment, and we also wanted to activate them at the launch. So what we basically do is there's a lot of work that happens with Disney, of course, but we curate a list. So we do research, we make a list of content creators that we'd want to work with for this title that we think their audience resonates with what our audience for the game is as well. So in this case, it's more female oriented, 16 to 35 years old, fans of Disney, fans of life simulation games like The Sims or Animal Crossing or something like that. And basically afterwards, we just reach out. So we send emails talking about the product, saying, hey, we think you're a great fit. We want to work with you for this game. And then basically what we do is we negotiate rates, which is basically the amount of money that we pay certain creators. And we negotiate deliverables, which are essentially how many pieces of content they're going to deliver. So for Dreamlight Valley, for example, we worked a lot on Twitch. So we would define, hi, we're gonna offer you X amount of dollars to do 4 hours of live stream in two different sessions. So it would be two-hour streams, and then we would make sure that the creators are streaming, that the messaging that they're giving about the game is correct, and then we would basically pay them out and analyze the results afterwards.
What are the rates of someone answering, like a creator answering to those kind of things?
I mean, they're all over the place, but it can be extremely lucrative. So
Oh.
I'm not gonna say any names out of privacy and contracts and everything, but we spend anywhere from I don't know $500 to anywhere to $1 million, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
it really depends on the size of the creator. For Dreamlight Valley, we didn't work with anyone big enough to spend $1 million on, but it's not rare to see, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, $50,000 being spent on content on one content creator, depending on their size and their relevancy, and the quality of their content as well. So I'd say, we've spent quite a bit of money for this game for creators. So it's a lucrative business. If you want to start doing content creation, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of passion, but it can be extremely lucrative once you've succeeded.
Is there a lot of Disney restrictions that you had to deal with for marketing? Because obviously for the game, I'm guessing like they had a lot of restriction and it was very strict. But for marketing, how much conditions did you have actually?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of work that needs to be done with Disney. Disney is probably the biggest IP in the world, right? They're the biggest
Yeah.
the biggest name in the world. So they that does come with a lot of restrictions. So when we work with them, and it's not necessarily restrictions, it's more teamwork, I would say. But
Okay.
it's we need to submit every content creator that we want to work with so that they can double check and make sure that they're compliant with their policies. Someone who has not talked bad on Disney, someone that does not use a lot of profanity in their content. So there's a lot of alignment there, and then there's also alignment with, and this is only for influence, right? But there's all of this applies to all of the other marketing departments working on the game, but they want to review the content as well. So once the creators have created their content, they will have a look and make sure that nothing bad is said about Disney, etc. But it does come with extra scrutiny, but that is fine. It's another work experience, I guess, but it definitely it's a little more challenging for sure.
You said that other marketing departments, do you interact a lot with them?
Yes, so there's a lot of course, there's a lot of teamwork that needs to happen. So the majority of the time, we'll work with product marketing managers who are essentially sort of the leads on their own games. For influence, we're more of a global team, so we support all of the games, but we're not necessarily fully attached to a product. So we try to be as close to the marketing team on the game itself, so that our goals are the same as them, and we can sort of make sure that we help them achieve what they're trying to achieve. But at the same time, not everyone is physically in the office next to the marketing team of that specific game because we have team members across the world. So yes, there's a lot of alignment that needs to happen, a lot of work that needs to happen with, product marketing and, brand marketing, etc. So all the departments sort of need to make sure that messaging is the same across different channels, whether that's, user acquisition, that's basically like Facebook ads, and other ad networks, or whether that's through creative marketing or so social media marketing, right? So, making sure the community managers of the game know that there's influence campaigns happening so that they can repost some of the content, stuff like that, So there's a lot of alignment, yes, that needs to happen when we do these big marketing pushes.
So basically, you were saying like you talk to so many people, and you said as well like not everyone is like in place, and you have to do a lot of meetings. You do a lot of online work where there's like a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff instead of being all about being there on place.
Yeah, especially, so at Gameloft, we have a hybrid policy. So most of the team members work 2 days in the office and then 3 days from home. But for myself, it's a little more complicated because I oversee a lot of people from different places in the world. So to give you an example, I have team members in Sofia in Bulgaria.
Oh, wow.
I was there last week actually, and I have, someone in Barcelona, someone in Ireland, in Paris, in New York. So there's a lot of Zoom meetings that happen and at a lot of different times because of the different time zones. So being in the office for me is not a waste of time because it's always valuable, but it's not added value for me to be in the office doing Zoom calls. That the time when I do go into the office, I really want to spend more time with people there and get things done concretely with the team in person. Whereas for the rest of the time, when I do have a lot of scheduled meetings with the influence team, but also with, other marketing teams, then I try to be home just so I can maximize my time as much as possible. So it does become sort of complicated. There's a lot of travel that comes with the position because of the fact that there's team members across the world, and it's important that I go see them. But yeah, a lot of what I do is online for sure at this time.
So you do a lot of traveling. That's interesting.
A lot of traveling, yeah. So last week I was in Sofia in Bulgaria, and then went 2 days to Switzerland, and then 1 day in Paris. So all of that in the span of 6 days. So that's a lot of flights in a short amount of time. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was in California for TwitchCon, which is the big Twitch convention. And then, I was in Paris a few weeks prior. So there's a lot of back and forths that need to happen. We do a lot of, trips with creators as well. At some point, we had brought creators to Japan for a trip. We had brought some influencers to Lamborghini headquarters in Italy to drive Lamborghinis there. So there's a lot of cool stuff that happens. So there's a lot of travel for sure. So sometimes it's good to be back home and just do Zoom calls because it's definitely traveling is really, really fun. But when you travel, you don't do the rest of the work that you need to do, so it sort of piles on, which is fine because it's a good problem to have again. But yeah, there's definitely a lot that happens for sure.
Is it hard to like keep track of all those members? Because you said you had about like 10 members in your team. And are they all over the world? Is it hard to like lead on 10 people and probably even more?
Yeah, I think like for the time zones, it's not too bad because we try to make sure that, I try to make sure that I start the day a little bit earlier so that I spend some time with everyone in Europe. And then, North American people wake up and then we get to work as well. So for time zones, it's not too bad. I think managing people is difficult in the sense that every single person is different, right? So you need to sort of take a different approach for every single person that you talk to and that you sort of manage and help. So that's sort of the most challenging part is that every person has, different issues and you need to sort of be there for all the issues that they have, whether that's even in their personal life, but personal and work, you need to sort of make sure your messaging comes across in a specific way that person values or understands. You can't use the same approach for every single person because then there's some people that just don't resonate with that approach. So that I would say is definitely challenging for sure. But again, working with a bunch of people from across the world, you get to learn different things from different cultures, which is great, and you get to meet people that you would have never met. So that is sort of a good point in working with people all over the world.
Yeah, because I always was interested in traveling, so that definitely interests me. So basically, how did you get into Gameloft? Like, was there a company that you wanted to get in? How did you get into mobile gaming, basically?
So I was actually working in fashion. So I worked in fashion for a while, but I had always been a very big fan of video games. I used to play professional Call of Duty when I was younger. I've been playing World of Warcraft for the past whatever, how many, 20 years, maybe. I don't know how long it's been, maybe not 20. It's been 18 years, I think, for World of Warcraft. So, I've been playing that game for a long, long time. So I've always been a diehard gamer. So I knew I wanted to work in the industry at some point. When I was working in fashion, I was doing a little bit of everything, but most of what I was doing was social media. So when there was a position available at Gameloft, I sort of applied because there was a community manager role that I really wanted. And I got the job, and then I sort of worked my way up across the years to where I am today. But, it was always sort of a dream of mine to work in the industry. There's, really good conditions here. Salaries are good. Again, conditions are good. People are great. It's sort of a laid back atmosphere. Don't get me wrong, we work a lot, but
Yeah.
it's not as uptight as, working in finance, for example, or, being a doctor is very different. It's very strict on what you need to do. Whereas for gaming, I feel like it's very creative and it's very um out there. When we were in the office, there's no dress codes, there's no time that you need to be at the office. It's like as long as what you're doing is done, then everyone's happy, right? So it's a lot more flexible than some industries, which is really great. So I knew I always wanted to be part of that, and when I had the chance to apply and get the position, then I definitely jumped on it, and then I sort of. Made my mark afterwards doing what I was doing. So it got me to where I am right now.
Wait, so basically you didn't have to go back to college or university to get into the position that you're in.
No, so what I did, so I was, yeah, like I said, I was working social media for a fashion company, and the position that was offered by Gameloft was also a social media position. So I already had that expertise where I knew a lot about social media and I knew a lot about community management. And I also brought in expertise being a gamer for a long time, right? So I knew how to sort of apply my work learnings and what I was doing to a gaming industry. So, I had already examples of what I wanted to do with community and what kind of content I wanted to create for people because of the fact that I was consuming so much of it, right?
Yeah.
So I was doing the work on one end in fashion, and I was consuming the work on the other end on gaming, whether that's like watching Twitch or looking at YouTube videos, etc. So the transition was like really, really easy. So no, I didn't need to go back to school for a switch.
Wait, so basically, that means for your fashion job at some point, what program did you get into when you got into college?
Completely different. Completely
Completely
different.
different.
Yeah, so I actually studied. So I studied communications a little bit. I ended up doing a certificate in communications, but then afterwards, I ended up starting a bachelor's in criminology, which is completely different than working in social media and marketing. So I sort of got into the fashion industry because I modeled for 7 or 8 years internationally, so I knew some people and it was great timing. So I kind of came in with a communications background, going into social media at the right time when social media was sort of starting.
That is true.
Um,
TikTok.
now, yeah, yeah, well now
TikTok.
TikTok, but back then it was like Facebook was starting, right? Or like
Yeah.
IG had just started. IG was like a year old or whatever. So there was no real classes to teach what social media was. I know now in university and stuff there is. There's a lot more of that. There's a lot more digital marketing classes, but for me it was sort of I was there at the right time at the right moment, and then because I was from a completely different background, criminology is like the complete opposite of marketing. So yeah, that's
It's
sort of how I wound up in there.
It sounds like you weren't really sure what you were gonna do later on in your career, and honestly, for a while, me too. So like you just kind of went on with the what you wanted and just decided, oh, let's do this since it's open, it's available.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you are right on it. Yeah, I mean, it was exactly that. I knew I wanted to work in gaming for sure. So that at some point I wanted to do, but we're sort of in a generation where there's so many possibilities and there's so many things you can do and there's so many interests that you have. I feel like, looking back 20, 25 years ago or something at my parents, everyone kept the same job for 30 years. It was very the same thing all the time. Whereas now people don't want to have the same job for 30 years, right? They want to do multiple things. So
Yeah.
that was something that I envisioned for myself as well. I wanted to make sure that I was dabbling into a lot of different things. Fashion was amazing for me for a big part of my life, and now gaming is, really, really has been amazing. I've done a bunch of like really, really awesome things and released a bunch of really cool projects. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was not stuck at doing one specific thing, which again is sort of I would say, doable now in this generation because of the fact that you have so many possibilities and you have so many opportunities that are brought to you. Is that don't settle for what is there. Do what you want to do and don't settle for that, because you do have the opportunity to actually do what you want and not do what you have to do, basically.
Oh my God, thank you for this advice. I didn't think I was gonna get some. Well, so basically, you've been there for how long exactly? And do you see yourself like staying, or do you think you're gonna probably try to dabble into something else later on?
Yeah, so I've been here for 6 years now at Gameloft. Um, for now, my passion is gaming, so I definitely want to stick in the gaming industry. Whether that's here, whether that's elsewhere, we don't know what time will tell. But for sure, I want to stick into the game. I want to stick to the gaming industry because it's what passions me the most. It's what excites me. You're working in games, right? And games are fun,
Yeah.
and the work that comes with it is fun as well. Don't get me wrong. There's challenging times. There's a lot of work that happens. There's a lot of stuff that um, when you're a consumer of the game, you don't see or you don't understand. And there's a lot of issues that happen across, the years that it takes to produce a game. But ultimately, it's a really fun industry. There's a lot of really cool people, and you get to work with people who have completely different passions and strengths that you have. What I do is influence, right? Where I do a lot of influencer marketing, which is digital marketing. It's very new, trendy, etc. But I work with a lot of concept artists, who draw all day, which is completely different than what I do, and all they do is draw. They sketch on their tablet. That's all they do. You work with programmers who code all day. It's completely different than what we do. So it's sort of an industry where you're working with people who can teach you a lot about different things as well, which is amazing. So I definitely want to stay here for the foreseeable future.
So Gameloft is a good company then.
Definitely a great company. I think in Montreal, especially, really great to come into, a lot of opportunities for growth. So, whether you're a junior that wants to learn from a lot of senior people, I think there's great opportunity there I would recommend the company 100%. Plus, we're releasing a lot more PC console games in the future, which comes with, a lot of added work. So we're always recruiting new people. So it's really a great place to work at for sure.
Yeah, because I saw it was like a mobile game company, and I even like saw some games that I used to play as a kid on my phone. But like you're saying, like so you guys are starting to dabble into like desktop, and is it different from in the marketing stance? I mean,
Yeah.
from mobile to desktop, or is it basically the
Definitely.
same?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah.
very, very different. Mobile versus PC audiences are completely different in the sense where they don't expect the same product. They don't expect the same things inside the game. You don't talk to them the same way that you don't talk to a PC gamer the way you talk to a mobile gamer. So it's completely different for sure. And that's why, it takes a lot of time to build up that strategy and make sure that the messaging that we're portraying is sort of the right one for the specific audience that we want to target. So it's really different in terms of development. I don't know. I mean, there's definitely challenges to developing on PC console versus mobile, but ultimately, it's a completely different industry, and it's really cool to see that shift for our company, because it has us, doing other things than just mobile. Mobile is great, don't get me wrong, but working PC console has its benefits as well, and it's super cool to finally get to release a product like that.
Yeah.
Especially Dreamlight Valley has been very, very successful, so we're very happy to release, our first PC console game, and that is very successful. It's really cool.
Are you a mobile gamer? You play mobile
Uh,
games?
Not really. I mean, I play mobile games. Right now I'm playing Marvel Snap, which is a great game. It's not made by us, but it's basically a card game. What else do I have on my phone? I have Survivor.io, which is a roguelike. It's really cool as well. I have Asphalt 9, which is produced by us. So I have a bunch of mobile games. So yes, I do play. I need to understand the market as well. But my on a personal level, like during my free time, I play PC games. I don't play mobile games.
And console games, what about them?
No, I don't even own a console.
Oh,
Can you
really?
imagine? Yeah, I don't even own a console. I need to get like a PlayStation or at least a Switch. You know, I travel a lot, so
Yeah.
I need to buy a Switch. But yeah, I only play on my PC.
Oh wow, because I don't have a PC, so I'm all the time on my console.
Yeah, yeah. What do you play Switch or PlayStation?
I do. I have every console because basically my parents are divorced, so
Okay.
I have about like everything just separated.
Okay.
And yeah, I play a lot of Kingdom Hearts and like Dreamlight Valley was definitely in my wish list. I'm probably gonna get it now.
I'll send you a key, Kaylee.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, I think I'm gonna run out of time if I have to edit this as well. But like, thank you so much for accepting to do this interview with me.
You're very welcome. It was my pleasure. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you. Basically, that's all I had to say, basically, because the conversation, my question definitely changed during this conversation.
So that's great. You were super good.
Thank you.
You were very, very good. I think what you did great is you listened to what I was saying and you adapted your questions based off of what I was saying. So instead of, I know you were very prepared in terms of, finding things prior, but I think you did a really good job at adapting yourself. So congrats on that. It was really good.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about my camera. I didn't think it would not work.
It's fine. It's
So
fine. Don't worry about it.
I
So
guess I'm just stuck with that,
do
but
you want me do you want me to send you a code on Switch for the game?
actually, yeah, that would be
Uh,
great.
Okay, I'll send you a code.
I'll give you tips about the marketing that you did. I'll go get all this stuff on TikTok to see if it works.
Okay, perfect. Awesome.